The views expressed are solely those of the speaker and not necessarily those of Paltalk.com, AVM software, or its advertisers.
News Talk is online. News Talk Online is a production of Paltalk.com, the largest multimedia interactive program on the internet with more than 4 million unique users on demand on iTunes and on YouTube. And thanks to our friends at CRN Digital Talk Radio, well, we're coast to coast across the United States in 12 million households served by cable. How cool is that? Or as Tanya would say, super cool. I'm your host, Gary Baumgarten. Well, today I want to talk a little bit about what's going on in politics. The hole in McCain's defense that he did not have sex with that woman, the lobbyist, Obama's lack of experience, Hillary's last stand at the Alamo, and Ralph Nader possibly joining the race. Did you watch the debate last night, Boaz? Or were you taking your 6-minute power nap that lasted like 6 hours?
No, I didn't have time to watch the debate at all. But I'll say it again, Gary. And I don't mean this to be. This is not a racial statement or anything like that. With regards to Obama, I think unfortunately, there are more than enough Americans in the United States that are not ready for a African American president. Unfortunately, that's the way I kind of see it.
I don't know about that, Boaz.
I'm saying, unfortunately.
I think that maybe there are some people who are ultra conservative who would let race get in the way of this issue of who they would vote for. But those individuals wouldn't vote for Hillary either. So what difference does it make? Anybody who wouldn't vote for Obama because of his race is not going to vote for Hillary because of her gender. So it doesn't matter.
You're probably right about that. I think you're right. There are a lot of Americans that don't believe a woman can lead this country, and I disagree with that because obviously women have led other countries throughout history, and we know of examples that we've brought up here before, like the former Prime Minister of Israel, Golda Meir, in the Middle East and Israel, where it's even tougher to be to get to a position like that. So. But here, I think we're behind times when it comes to stuff like that, Gary.
Well, I think that the voter base is maturing, and I think that Obama particularly resonates with young people. And I think that young people are actually, I don't know, I haven't seen the figures, I've only heard this anecdotally, that young people are starting to participate a little bit more in the electoral process, and that's a very good thing. Is it not? Anyway, go ahead.
I mean, it's a good thing, but there's a problem with that too. I don't know just how much our younger generation, let's say in their early to mid 20s, from the age of voting and a couple of years beyond, I'm not sure how much they really understand how how these campaigns work and where they're going and what they're designed for. And sometimes I'll tell you, Gary, it's us elders, let's put it that way, in our 40s and 50s are scratching our heads about all these campaigns and what's going on. And can we expect our younger generation to really comprehend?
Well, boys, come on. How about when you were young? You voted, presumably, and
Yeah, of
when I
course
was
I did.
when I was young,
But
I
I
was in
didn't.
high
You know what,
school.
Gary? I didn't really understand what I was doing when I was 20 years old. And I don't think most 20-year-olds really understand the concept. I really truly believe that.
Well, boys, it doesn't matter how much they understand the concept or how much you understand the concept. Anyway, what matters is if they're going to show up and vote. And the issue is, will young people come out and vote for Obama if he is nominated as the Democratic candidate for president of the United States? And I think
I
that they
think they
would.
will. I think
So
they will.
would that not counterbalance your concerns about the numbers of people who wouldn't vote for him because of his race?
I don't know what the numbers are. It's hard to say, Gary.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is all speculative. We won't know until the night of the election, of course. But um, I'll tell you what, this is really shaping up to be just a wonderful campaign, and hopefully once we have dispensed with the conventions and the anointment of the men or the man and woman who become the nominees for the Republican and Democratic Party, they'll actually start talking about some issues. And we're going to try to be a little ahead of the curve and talk about issues here. Now, yesterday we talked about the allegations made by the New York Times about an improper relationship that Senator McCain allegedly had with a lobbyist. And I focused in on the salacious part of all that, which, by the way, they could have made their case without entering into that aspect of the discourse, and maybe they wouldn't have sold as many newspapers, but maybe we could have gotten down to the nitty-gritty of what this complaint about his alleged conflict of interest was. Because as those of you who were with me yesterday know, I find it disgusting that we care about a public figure's sex life. I find it disgusting that we care about any of our neighbors' sex lives. You know, there are laws against peeping toms. You're not supposed to be looking through the bedroom windows of your neighbors. And, you know, I don't think we should really care about that aspect of it. But I do care if, in fact, pushing that aside, the candidate did something that has an appearance of impropriety. Now, I have asked, begged, got down on my knees, pleaded with my good friend and our political correspondent, Alan Jasie, who is sicker than a dog, to spend just a couple of minutes with us. Please, ladies and gentlemen, you'll hear in his voice that he's going to be straining a little bit as he fights the flu, to come to us and explain what the story really is, taking the salaciousness out of it. And what was revealed today, Alan, I understand that there's a hole in McCain's defense. In fact, I understand that McCain contradicted himself with his refutation of the allegations in the New York Times. What's that all about?
Yeah, hi, Gary. Hey, Bose. Well, McCain, first of all, this story originally started, the investigation started back in November. And at that time, the McCain campaign got wind of it, and McCain went out and hired Bob Bennett, who is the go-to guy in D.C. if you need an attorney. He happened to, one of his former clients was Bill Clinton, our former president, during his impeachment process. He's been lobbying to get this story quashed at the New York Times. McCain has called Bill Keller, the editor of the New York Times. I mean, there's a lot going on here with the Hacks and Communications, who this Vicky Eisman was the lobbyist for. And it goes back really to Paxson trying to buy a station in a market, and I believe it was to get a second station in the market, and he was getting no response from the FCC. At this point,